Well, a warm welcome to the History Show on Uxbridge FM, and it's fantastic, as usual, to welcome Ken Pearce back, who is chairman of the local History Society. Ken, your first talk today is John Rich. We're very intrigued to hear about this.
Righto. Well, it seemed appropriate to me with the pantomime season approaching to talk about John because he was the man who introduced pantomime into this country. He's buried in a corner of Hillingdon churchyard with a very substantial tomb. He lived from 1692 to 1761, and his place in theatre history is, of course, assured because of the connection to pantomime. Rich grew up in London and originally set out to be an actor, using the stage name Lun, spelt Lun, but he didn't have a very good voice. But when he was only 21 years of age, his father died, and John and his brother then took over their father's role as the manager of the new theatre in Lincoln's Inn Fields. At that time, there was a great rivalry between that theatre and the one in Drury Lane, each competing for the premier place in the capital's entertainment. And it was this fierce competition that led John Rich to branch out with a new style of stage production in 1721, the first real English pantomime. It was titled The Magician, or Harlequin, a Director. This was the great period of the South Sea bubble scandal, and the title director had become a laughing stock because of this. So this new show was partly serious and partly comic, and it also had the part of a mute actor, which was ideal for John Rich because of his poor voice. Hence the word pantomime as well, by the way. It included songs and also references to current events. That first pantomime was not a great success, but it was innovative and established a pattern. And soon other more successful pantomimes followed, and the fortunes of Rich and his company were made. And further success came when Rich produced John Gay's Beggar's Opera, which gave rise to the saying that the opera made Gay rich and rich gay. John Rich's wealth enabled him then to build a brand new theatre in Covent Garden, and it opened as the Theatre Royal in 1732. It was an immediate success, and in its first season, there were no fewer than 6 Royal Command performances. Although John Rich spent most of his time in London, he eventually bought a property outside London called Cowley Grove in the parish of Hillingdon, a place where he could escape from time to time from the hectic life of the capital with his wife, the actress Heather Santeloe. The property stood in Cowley Road, and indeed was still there until 1967, when it was demolished and replaced by the Fraser development. The John Rich's house had latterly been a hotel. So John Rich eventually died there and was buried in Hillingdon churchyard. He is also remembered today by a block of flats, John Rich House, which stands next to Hillingdon Hospital.
Well, there we go, Ken. Thanks for that. John Rich.